This presentation was made for our community nursing course at St. Petersburg College and was created to provide a thorough overview of the Tampa, Florida community. We hope that we enhance your knowledge of this unique and wonderful community and you gain a greater appreciation for this area in regards to historical origins, population information, and the healthcare system.
This overview is to provide the structure that we will follow for this presentation, which directly mirrors the syllabus requirements for the assignment. We will start with the history of Tampa and end with a comparison of the global issue of tobacco consumption and its impact on the Tampa community. Due to the 10-minute time constraint, 30 seconds will be spent on each slide with more detailed information available in the notes section below.
When Tampa was discovered by explorer Juan Ponce de Leon in 1513, it took nearly 15 additional years to begin being inhabited by Spaniards and Native Americans. However, by the early 1700s, most of the Native American population was wiped out by European diseases. Although it was the first area of British colonization in the United States, this was short-lived and it once again became Spanish property until being sold to the United States in 1821. From here, the U.S. Army established Fort Brooke to protect Tampa's port, and the addition began massive growth in this community. With the establishment of Fort Brooke, more people began flocking into Tampa. With Henry B. Plant's railroad system, waterfront hotels, and the upscale University of Tampa, people set up this community for their new beginnings. Cigar factories attracted many workers and tourists, and by the 1960s, Tampa's business district was already utilized by many corporations. One addition, the Tampa Convention Center was placed on the former site of Fort Brooke, making this location what initially attracted people to the area and what continues to bring in thousands of visitors to this day. When assessing community resources in Tampa, the Tampa Convention Center, apartment availability, and the University of Tampa come to mind. Although all of these structures are large and have expanded to meet the needs of the community, with the population steadily growing, they still are unable to keep up. Tampa's growth is restricted due to its waterfront location, and limited available space has caused an increase in housing costs in the downtown. Many of Tampa's residents reside in the outskirts of the city or in surrounding suburbs and commute into the downtown for work, functions, and schools. For residents and visitors alike, traveling throughout Tampa is convenient for commuting, traveling, and vacationing. Tampa has 3 major interstates and multiple toll roads which provide swift access throughout the downtown to suburbs and other communities. While additions and expansions are continuously underway, this is done to keep residents safe and with shorter commutes. With its own airport, millions of people can fly into and out of Tampa annually, and it has been ranked the second best airport for travelers in the U.S. for its easy-to-use layout and friendly staff. Additionally, something unique to Tampa is its waterfront location, which enables people to get away on cruise ships that sail right into the port of Tampa, something that surrounding communities do not have yet. For tourists coming into Tampa, there are numerous options which are unique to the community. The Tampa Theater, which has been around since 1926, is a nationally recognized historic location. Also, Ybor City, which sits on the outside of Tampa, is where Tampa cigar factories have been converted into vibrant clubs and restaurants. Going to the Tampa Theater in Ybor gives people a fun understanding of Tampa's Spanish influences and beginnings. Lastly, the Channelside District draws in a younger crowd and entices visitors with its waterfront location and proximity to the downtown. However, unlike many other cities, Tampa's downtown is largely businesses and does not provide much to do on the night or on weekends, something that many residents wish to be improved.
When looking at Tampa's population, one notable item is its population growth that does not seem to be on par with the rest of the county or the state, growing at about half of the rate. This could represent an issue for Tampa's community that on a first look would appear to be experiencing some population stagnation, but a second look reveals that the likely explanation for this apparent stagnation is its much higher population density. Tampa's population growth is limited by its land development, population density, and space. Another point of interest to entertain when looking at a community's population is how it fares in terms of living below or above the poverty level. Tampa has a higher per capita income when compared to county and the state, but its percentage of individuals living below the poverty level is significantly higher at 4% than the other 2 points of comparison. This represents an issue for the community since health and poverty are well correlated and one affects the other. In an article entitled Poverty and Health, Sally Murray delineates the ways in which 2 phenomena, namely poverty and health, are correlated. Since the poverty rate of Tampa's community is higher, one would expect to find more instances of poor child health, less school attendance and performance, fewer work opportunities for those living in poverty, and a cycle of continued poverty that perpetuates itself due to the effects it has on health and vice versa.
Tampa is fortunate to have many healthcare options to meet the needs of its residents. With numerous hospitals all operating under the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, all residents and visitors have access to care regardless of their insurance status. This greatly benefits the community, for everyone has a means of access to health care. There are also options such as long-term acute care facilities, home health companies, and mental health facilities which care for people which require more specialized health services. Because these companies lack the space and availability that hospitals have, they are unable to accept as many people and are more particular about who they will treat. Additionally, they look more closely at insurance coverage and can deny people who they don't feel meet the requirements for their services or will be unable to pay.
The three Healthy People 2020 objectives that seem most applicable to Tampa would be increasing access to health services, since Florida is one of the three highest uninsured states in the country, and lack of access to primary care is related to poor health outcomes. The second objective would be to diminish the costs and morbidity rates of dementia and Alzheimer's-related health issues. And lastly, due to the high rate of mortality and the high rate of smoking in Tampa, curbing tobacco use is the third objective to be applied to the community.
Through strategic planning, Tampa set itself up adequately to meet the needs of those residing in this community. From numerous entertainment venues such as Raymond James Stadium to strolling along the Bayshore 6-mile sidewalk, Tampa has something to do for all residents. Its Parks and Recreation Department has developed dozens of parks all around the community for people and pets to have free, safe, and well-maintained outdoor fun. There is no shortage of entertainment options in this city, which attracts locals, other Floridians, and tourists to this fun community. One of the best aspects of this community is its police force as well as its fire department. With numerous police stations throughout the community and thousands of policemen and women working in Tampa alone, residents can feel safer in the city, for it is well monitored by diligent and skilled individuals. The fire department, although not as large, responds to many natural disasters as well as medical emergencies. Both the police force and fire department have an average response time of 6 to 8 minutes or less, which has improved safety and outcomes for Tampa residents throughout the years and to this day. Like most big cities, Tampa is not spared from having environmental concerns such as natural disasters and air pollution. Although Tampa's waterfront location makes for a beautiful community, this also increases risks such as flooding and hurricanes. Fortunately, there have been many resources allocated to hurricane preparation and teaching the community. Numerous clearly marked evacuation routes are scattered throughout the community, as well as to keep people safe if a hurricane or disaster were to occur. Additionally, air pollution is an issue in Tampa due to the high number of commuters in this community and limited public transportation. While plans may be developed in the future for community transportation, for now residents must be mindful of their own environmental impact in order to maintain this area for years to come.
Tampa's government follows the rules of a representative democracy where its citizens get to elect their leaders and lawmakers every 4 years. Mayor Bob Buckhorn is the mayor and chief executive officer of the city, and there are 7 city council members that are also elected by the people. The city council enacts laws, ordinances, policies, and resolutions, and then the mayor administers these legislative items. The community can easily participate in the politics by attending city council meetings as well as have a voice in the economic governance of the city. The budget of Tampa is fiscally sound and operates on a philosophy of promoting safety, resources to the community, as well as empowering neighborhoods. When looking at the Tampa community needs, problems, and diagnoses as perceived by a community nurse, we chose obesity as the #1 problem of our community due to the overarching health problems that are created by an increased BMI, such as significantly raising the risk of heart disease and stroke. We reason that these priorities should be in this particular order because obesity is the biggest problem, followed by heart disease and smoking, all significant determinants of poor health outcomes in order of most significant. Healthcare access and poverty would follow as significant determinants of health, followed by the addiction and abuse of pain pills. One of the leading causes of death in the Tampa community is cardiovascular diseases such as heart attacks and stroke, with an age-adjusted rate of 170 per 100,000 according to the Florida Health Department. Smoking, on the other hand, is responsible for 65 deaths per 100,000 people, and for that reason, it is our third community health problem. Smoking is in the top 3 because, according to the WHO, it is the most directly preventable behavior which would yield the most direct improvement in health outcomes. Our last 3 community problems and opportunities in Tampa are lack of health coverage, poverty, and the pain addiction and trafficking issue. Lack of health coverage results in poor health outcomes for the community due to lack of access to primary care and preventative medicine. Poverty, as we discussed earlier, is directly correlated to poor health, with both phenomena causing further exacerbation. Lastly, the patterns of pharmaceutical drug abuse in Tampa have been a well-known and documented problem that has caused the black market to emerge, crime to increase, and pharmacies to become too restrictive and intrusive into medical practice, as some have opined. Smoking is a pretty big deal, both for the Tampa community and on the global scale. With more than 6 million people dying each year from tobacco, the consequences are very significant, with economic development being hindered to raising the cost of healthcare. The World Health Organization advanced a treaty as well as a practical measure, spelled out by the acronym MPOWER, which has been accepted by 178 United Nations parties to help in curbing the consumption of tobacco. The Tampa community has also taken measures to reduce the consumption of tobacco through initiatives like Tobacco Free Florida. The initiative helps to provide community support and strengthens local policies. In particular, in 2014, a few high school and college students partnered up with Tobacco Free Florida and lobbied the Hillsborough County School Board to unanimously vote for a comprehensive tobacco-free school policy for 2015. The community health nurse, in addressing the issue of tobacco consumption, could intervene through community education about the health effects of smoking and also by lobbying the local government and speaking to city council members to advance ordinances and policies that support the initiatives of Tobacco Free Florida and that are in line with the Empower strategy of the World Health Organization.
Both Daniel and I would like to thank you for viewing our presentation. We hope that these last few minutes have enhanced